I have the great pleasure and kind of a funny coincidence to have the Velvet Matheson on the Zoom call with me today. Velvet, thanks very much for reaching out and agreeing happily to be on my show.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
Velvet lives relatively close to me, although this is the first time we've got to meet face to face somewhat. And Velvet, tell me a little bit about you, your work. We're in complementary industries. You're an interior designer. Is that how you describe yourself?
Yes, that's the technical term, I guess, of what I do and the schooling and stuff that I have. I've lived in the community for quite some time, probably about 15 years now. And kind of moved into this area. I really wanted a community and stuff that was walkable, that I could go to the grocery store and, you know, everything, restaurants and whatnot that was really local. So love that part of it.
And this is the Marda Loop area.
Yeah, yes. Marda Loop. I'm technically in South Calgary, but, you know, we're all lumped into
Marda Loopians.
Marda Loopia. Yeah, thank you. Yes. And yeah, interior design is what my job is. I'm a founder of my own company. It's called Little Red Door. And we specialize really in renovations. I've been working in that industry for a long time, just doing renovations for people. And that can be any number of things. That can be, you know, the hard stuff like kitchen and bath renovations, or it can be the soft furnishings and window coverings and that kind of stuff too. So kind of the whole gamut. Yeah, did I answer it right?
I think you did. And how did you come to live in Marda Loop area? I mean, how did you come to live in Calgary?
Oh, sure. So Calgary, you know, Calgary in the mountains. My mom's originally one of the founding families of Canmore. So she's one of the original coal mining.
Wow.
So every year of my life was spent in Canmore. And so we would come and do a stop here. I have a great aunt that's just will turn 100 this year, that's in Calgary. So we would stop and see her. We would come and go to the Stampede. We'd go to Callaway Park, and then we'd go and spend 2 or 3 weeks in Canmore. So that's my story of always wanting to get here.
Come from where?
Grand Prairie.
Grand Prairie.
Yeah,
okay.
Northern girl. So I made my way down. I lived in Edmonton. I lived in Red Deer. I worked for a cabinet company that was based out of Red Deer, and I got transferred with them. That's how I ended up here. And I worked with that company for 12 and a half years, and then just decided I needed new things to happen.
Interesting. I mean, we could like take this podcast in so many different directions right now and be on this call for like hours. Although we want to take our time into consideration for our listeners and viewers. What strikes you about Calgary, Velvet?
You know, I'm a big, and I know you're a big runner and mountain biker or biker. Cyclist. And those are all the things that I love. I love being outdoors. I love the mountains. I love our pathway systems. I've spent many an hour on my bike. I used to commute back and forth for work on my bike. And I love that aspect about it. I love camping. I love all the outdoor stuff that Calgary really has to offer. As well, it's just always been a busy city. There's so much to do here. You know, I was here during all my party years too. So, you know, it was nice having all that element and the livelihood of what a big city offers too. So, you know, all that was really fun.
Is there anything you don't like about Calgary?
That I don't like? Well, I don't like what's happening right now. That's for sure. Just this uncertainty of everything, but I guess that's the world, not necessarily just Calgary. Anything I don't like?
We don't have to think about it too hard.
I don't know that there's nothing that comes to mind right away about what I don't like.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of your real estate decisions in Calgary, or generally all your life, maybe? Like just sort of like how many properties have you owned? Or
this is my third property that I've owned that I'm in now. And as I said, I've been here for about, I don't know, 13, 15 years, somewhere in there. I actually still own a condo down on 12th Avenue in Sonalta. And that was my first home ownership. That condo I bought, and I was renting at the time, needed more space. I always had people coming to visit, and I thought, oh, I need a 2-bedroom. So at the time, oh gosh, I guess that was like 20 years ago. At the time, it was just as cheap to buy something as it was to be renting. And so that's what I did. And I found a great spot. It was close to 17th Ave. And, you know, it was really a kind of a central spot to do all the things that I wanted to do. And from there, I moved to the area by Westbrook Mall, just in behind Westbrook Mall. Westgate. I did a joint venture with some friends, and we bought a duplex and we turned it into a fourplex.
Wow.
And I lived there for 2.5 years, and I rented out my condo. I couldn't sell it at the time, so I just ended up renting it.
Can you give me an idea what year we're in now?
17 years ago.
So this is before the boom, maybe? This is like 2003 or 4.
Listen, I had really good luck in real estate with that property. Right? I mean, now not so much. I mean, thank goodness I made that money, because I don't know what's going to happen with right now.
Yeah.
I did buy at a high time in here, but I was able to do that because I sold that property for so much. I think we doubled what we bought it for to what we sold it for. So
so for the folks that are not deep in real estate, Velvet bought her first condo, I think in St. Alter, around 2001, when it was just starting to rise in prices.
Yeah.
Then she bought in Westgate a duplex that she turned into a fourplex, I'm guessing probably in 2004, or maybe even up to about October 2005. And then in December 2005, that's when the market took off. She got lucky and sold it. About what year do you think?
Oh, it's 2.5 years after we bought it, and we doubled.
So like 2007, maybe, which was the boom. I bought the residence that I'm sitting in right now in January of 2007 and closed on it in July of 2007, which was the very height, the highest, well, actually not the highest prices ever, because the home I'm in now is worth a bit more than I paid for it, and really significantly more, but it's gone up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, good for you. And it's neat to say that, that you were lucky, because lots of people just think they're smart.
Oh, I don't know if that, I don't know. No, I would never say I was smart. I just got lucky.
Well, real estate, people like the people that have done really well in it, consistently, often they tend to think of themselves as smart as opposed to lucky, and the people that have had a little more struggle and stuff.
Well, bless them, because
we blame it on luck, not anything else.
Bless them, because it's very scary. It's big ticket items and it's lots of money, and
well, that's the part of Alberta and Calgary that I find a little stressful and maybe don't like, is the boom bust cycles. It's of where I'm going with that a little bit. The boom bust and cycle is kind of one of my standard questions I like to ask people is, how do you deal with it? Have you had people close to you that have suffered because of the boom bust, or do you personally save for a rainy day? We all know that bumper sticker, please God, give me another boom, I won't piss it away this time. It's kind of a familiar bumper sticker that we see in Alberta from time to time. Any thoughts on that, Velvet?
I think I've been pretty frugal in always. I'm not a big spender of things. I mean, of course, I love to travel, so that's where my money tends to go, more than buying things and spending it that way. I do save for a rainy day, because you want to do those nice big trips and really enjoy them and do that kind of stuff. I don't know. Nobody ever gave me this information. In hindsight, I wish I had always thought about it, that when you have a house, you should almost it's like you're paying HOA fees or condo fees or something, that money you should always be tucking away for the furnace or the fridge, just need a new paint job or something.
Reserve fund.
Yeah, the reserve fund, exactly. I don't know that I had ever really thought of it in that way. And it's only until you kind of are in it and need to redo those things, especially if you're in a house that's more, for more than 5 years and stuff. It's funny, because I have clients like that all the time. The deferred maintenance is what we call it, where you do need to touch your paint up, because it does get chipped in those areas and colors change. And to keep it, if you're going to sell it, people are looking for that maintenance to have been done. And so kind of both edges of that sword, I guess, about making sure you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, but keep a nest egg in there for the bigger ticket items, the unfun stuff like furnaces and hot water tanks and that stuff.
Good. Well, I mean, that's funny for you to say the unfun stuff like that, but lots of people, it's unfun to paint too,
Well, that's there's more visual reward.
I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, we finally changed the paint color in my basement. Again, I bought it in 2007. It's a bungalow, 1950s bungalow with lots of updates and renovations and built out and everything. It's very comfortable here now. But guess what color it was? We bought it in 2007. It was updated at the time. I won't make you suffer, but it was that beige that's
This
everywhere.
color right here. This
Actually, I have a story about that color too, but maybe I'll save it. Anyway, I cannot look at that color anymore, beige, and we just got it painted white, and I'm so happy.
Yes, right. We're in the process of doing that too. I usually have a big picture behind me, but we just took the artwork down because we're starting baby steps. It just, you know, when your house is full of stuff, it's hard to do the paint and get everything moved around. Yeah. So yeah, that.
Just yesterday, I showed a designer a short-term rental that we have in Mission, and it was not that color behind you, but it was a kind of a green that, you know, I just assumed she's going to say that I have to change it. And she said, oh, I kind of like this vintage paint. And I was like, so happy to hear that, because it just saved me, you know, X $1,000. But anyway, that's kind of funny. So tell me a little bit more about your business, Velvet Interior Design. What does your ideal client look like in Calgary, and how can we help you?
Yeah, sure. It's been a ongoing process. I've been like a lead designer that has technically a contractor to a contractor, where they have a design portion in their renovation package that people would buy. And I really found that it was really hard to advocate for both the design things that we do and for the client when I was working kind of under a contractor per se. You know, it never felt like I could really, I'm going to tiptoe a little bit about how I word this, but, you know, really fight for all the things that, you know, we talk about. There's such an amount of detail that goes into finding out what a client wants, how it's going to, you know, or if they don't know what they want, they just know something's not working. So there's lots of like questions and lots of kind of defining what it is that they really want, not just what they are saying out loud, but, you know, kind of get to the underlying things that's going to make a house either work for them, or a new home that just needs a few of those things to really work for their lifestyle. My company's been open since 2008. So that's 13 years, I think, this year. And just in the last probably 3 or 4 years, really starting to define and working with the actual homeowners, the people that own the property, and doing it so that we can really advocate for what they wanted, really understand the design concepts, and we're not kind of trying to compensate for some of the budget things when we've signed a contract with somebody and they really want to keep everything in a certain, I don't know how to word this. Just really making sure that what we get at the end result really is what the client wanted, and not having to compromise too much. Now, renovations, there's always a bit of compromise because we don't always know all the aspects of it. But, you know, my whole thing is really trying to find out how we can make something a really great design and look beautiful. I mean, you can make bad design look beautiful too. And it's not until you're living in it that you don't get it. So my ideal client is that person that just really wants their space to work for them, that they are some decision makers. They have to be able to make decisions about budgets, about what they want to have and how they want to live in a space. So that's my ideal client.
Okay. And so when you're designing, is it more about like the space and the walls and where things are located, or is it also furniture and pictures and art and colors and
It's
lamp
kind of
shades?
all of that. We always start with the floor plan and making sure I do floor plan drawings and space planning for the clients, so that if we need to take a wall down or if we're doing a kitchen renovation. I spent 12 and a half years working for a cabinetry company, so I know cabinets very well, and doing that design aspect of it. I mean, most renovations start with kitchen and bath designs, honestly, but I do all the furniture and stuff as well. We do packages up where people give us a budget and say, hey, we need these amount of pieces in our home, do up a spec sheet so that they can go shopping for it. We also offer where we can get all that stuff on order and place it and basically stage the whole house for them as well. So it just depends on what people are looking for. Window coverings and that kind of stuff, the soft furnishings. I tend to do that after the other design aspect of it. I don't have a lot of people that just want to come and look for furniture. I have a handful of them, but I would say more of it's, you know, we need to take a wall down, or we need to make the kitchen better. We need to make the bathroom better, and those things. Yeah.
Interesting. Good. I guess I asked this question for myself. Do you find that there's people will make the decisions and they'll choose not to ask you because maybe one, they don't know that it's possible to ask you. Number two, it might be too expensive. Or number three, why would they ask you? Because shouldn't they just do it for themselves? How do you handle those kind of objections, or how do you educate people to actually pick up the phone and book you in for a consultation? And do you do consultations, and what does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. I have a whole bunch of packages kind of set up. So we usually do an initial consult where it's actually a working meeting. So we do, 90 minutes either in your home or on a Zoom call. It depends on what we're doing. Sometimes when it comes down to color and those kinds of things, it's really hard to do on a computer screen. So those types of things that I like to do in person. I get all of those objections. Sometimes people just want to hire a contractor and just get it done. Well, there are contractors out there that do have a design component to that, but not a lot. Most of them are like, well, you just tell me what you want to have in here and we can do it. And I think one of the downfalls of sometimes for people, there are some amazing people that have great eye for color and all of that. But I think the majority of people that look to hire some expertise in doing this is that they can't see the whole picture. And that's my expertise of seeing how the one thing we pick in this area, how it relates to the other areas in the home. And despite what people think, you can't have everything, not everything you choose in your house will you love. You might like it, but we want the one thing in there to be what you really love. And then the rest of it to work and really enhance the part that you really, really love. So, that's fine tuning and figuring out what that is for people too. Space planning is just such an important part, and really understanding what's not working for people. That's been some of the best feedback I've had from people is, what would you change? If we were to do this all again, what would you change? And 95% of them would say nothing. And we've got reviews and just a whole process of really listening to people. And whoever you hire, whether it's me or anybody, just make sure that they're listening to what you want and that you like them. This is a long process to do renovations, and you really need to like the person that's coming into your house and to really truly believe that they're listening to what your wants and needs and stuff are too.
Good, very good. A real estate coach told me many years ago, and I might find this interesting, the easiest way to sell someone a house or to get them the right house for them is ask them what house they were living in before. So if they grew up in a 2-story or they had a 2-story before, that's what they want, or a bungalow. It's like people want the same thing. So I think that it's important, I would guess, in your business and mine, to ask people questions and maybe expose them to something else that they may not be familiar with.
Yeah, I do a lot of marriage counseling, which I'm sure you do too, on these things, but it's always okay, well, tell me why you like that. I'll answer the question that they've given me, but just try and get more information. Like, well, why are you asking me that? Like, here's what I think, but why are you asking that particular, I can't think of a question right now, of why you want to do that, or what is it? Sometimes we have to start with people with, well, what don't you like about your house? What don't you like about the colors in here, or that route as well. So for some reason, we're a society that knows what we don't like, but doesn't really know what we like.
True. Well, Velvet, in respect for our listeners and viewers, I'd like to kind of maybe wind this down a little bit. A few questions to ask is, first, how do people find you? Are you on Instagram? Is it a website? What's the best way?
Yeah, kind of all of those things. We're on Instagram. Little Red Door Inc. is the Instagram account. We're on Facebook. We're on House. We're on LinkedIn. Really, you can find me. There's a website too. littlereddoorstudio.com is our website as well. It's still under construction somewhat, but you can book a call in. We offer 15 minutes free, talk about your project, really see if we're great fits for each other, looking, what you want to do, and those things, kind of breaking down some of the budgets and really talking about projects too. So you can book that call right online whenever's convenient for you. And then if you want to proceed further, we'll give you the information, of course, on that call, and let you know what the next steps are. So, yeah.
Excellent. Good. And for fun, I wrote down a long time ago some questions that you might ask a guest, and I have never done it. And I just happened to have the folder right here, and I thought it'd be fun to do it with you. These are called rapid fire questions. What's your favorite word?
Fabulous.
What turns you on?
Good food.
What sound or noise do you love?
I don't know. Pass.
Okay. And what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
What profession? I'd like to be an outdoors person. Is that a profession? Like a professional hiker or something.
Oh, cool. Like a guide or something. Nice.
Wait. I'd like to be like a professional athlete. I'm not, but I love to do like all kinds of different sports. And if I could have ever made it, I think I would have been a good competitor.
Which sport would it have been?
Trick. I love cycling. I love swimming. I used to love running, but I'm getting old, man. It's hard on my.
Yeah, I find the same thing. I'm trying to love running again. So
Yeah.
I'm picking up my frequency to try. I think you have to run like at least 5 times a week to enjoy it.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
As an aging athlete, I should say that. Like I used to run twice a week or maybe 4 times, and I just loved it all. Like this is 10 or 15 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
The years go by. Let's go to the next one.
Here you go.
Room, desk, or car? Which do you clean first?
Room.
Thanks so much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you. Those are so fun. We could talk forever. I could tell.
We'll continue to connect.
Okay. Thank you so much.